Hi, and welcome to Tax Tip of the Week. Today, we are talking about getting it done, gaining control, reap more from less, facing the future, and discover value. That's 5 pillars that came out of our global survey from 2019. And with me to elaborate on those 5 pillars, I have Mikko Jantunen.
Sure, thanks, Jonas, and thanks for having me here. So actually, what the survey highlights about the focus areas of companies is pretty much in line with the day-to-day discussions we are having with companies. So quite often the discussion about compliance and reporting or the management of taxes starts from the question about how do you gain control? How do you build your processes, governance, and technology that serve you today, and how to prepare for the future?
And from a practical perspective, how do you see this? So what are we advising clients as Deloitte for their outsourcing?
So especially now that we are seeing so many types of reporting requirements, not only about corporate tax or VAT compliance anymore, but rather all kinds of locally initiated country-specific reporting requirements and stuff. They lead to some of the very practical questions, like, for instance, how do you stay up to date in terms of what are the rules today and what they will be next year? And how do you actually make the assessment of what are the investments required in compliance technologies, talent, regulatory expert, their training, internal processes, quality reviews, etc., and whatever it requires. And in very practical terms, how we can assist is helping companies with the technology selection process design and designing this process or delivery model for compliance and reporting. And finally, how do you in practice implement your plans about training, system changes, etc. So, and these are also the very practical reasons why companies are assessing alternatives and having discussions with companies like Deloitte. And I believe one of the aspects that the survey also highlights is that companies are really looking for flexibility in terms of the compliance and reporting delivery models. So they are really looking for an optimal balance between the use of their own shared services, use of traditional outsourcing or outsourcing via managed service model. And then again, what is the right technology setup and processes for future operating model. And maybe on technology specifically, Jonas, you noted from the survey that over half of the surveyed head of taxes say that they have increased their investment in digital and tax technologies over the past 2 years. So is this something you are also seeing in practice, and what are your thoughts on this?
So real-time reporting was a couple of years ago only something you saw maybe in Latin America, so mainly in Brazil and towards China and the Eastern countries. But nowadays we see it in Norway, we see it in Poland, we see it in Spain, we see it in Hungary, and we see it coming more and more closely across the world. Even in Africa region, we see the need for having real-time reporting requirements and thereby capabilities to respond to it. So in general, we do see that technology is much more important, and there is various technologies out there to support the tax function. And each of the technologies are doing various pieces. So you need to make your desire of where do I want to start in order to secure my compliance? Am I starting with the controlling, or do I start with the compliance aspect? Thank you, Mikko, for joining as guest here, and for your valuable input on the 5 pillars and the trends we see in the market. And thank you all for tuning in to Tax Tip of the Week. Please stay tuned next week when we are ready to serve you the next tip. Thank you. Bye-bye.